Factor trinomials with GCF. Always factor the GCF first. So that means that from here on out, whenever we come to a trinomial problem, the first thing that we want to check is see if we can find a common factor in all of the terms that we can pull out. And then after that, we'll proceed doing our normal reverse FOIL trick. So let's go ahead and look at this example 1 right here. We've got 18x to the 4th minus 21x to the 3rd minus 15x squared. So in this case, I'm seeing that all of these are multiples of 3, so I can pull out a 3. And I'm also seeing that they all have x's in them. And our trick with variables is that we want to take the lowest exponent to be in our GCF. So that's going to be x squared. So I want to divide that out of each of our terms, and we're going to be left with 6x squared minus 7x minus 5. Okay, so now that we've got that covered, we've successfully pulled out our GCF, and we're going to use our normal trinomial tricks to factor this 6x squared minus 7x minus 5. So we're going to keep our 3x squared out in front and form two sets of parentheses right here. And we want to try and find something that'll multiply together to give us this 6x squared. So I'm going to guess 2x times 3x. And we also want something that'll multiply together to give us this negative 5 right here. I'm going to try plus 1 minus 5. Positive 1 times a negative 5 would give us this negative 5. And then we want to see whether or not that's going to give us this negative 7x in the middle here. So to check that, we're going to go ahead and multiply together our outside terms. Our outside terms will give us minus 10x, and our inside terms together would give us plus 3x. So now we've got plus 3x minus 10x. Hey, well, look at that. We get minus 7x. So that should be completely successful. Now we just want to go ahead and completely FOIL this out to make sure that we're getting all the way back to this original expression. So the first thing that I'm going to do is multiply this inside part back together. So I'll keep my 3x squared out in front. And then I'll have this 2x times 3x, 6x squared. 2x times negative 5 is minus 10x. 1 times 3x is plus 3x. 1 times negative 5 is minus 5. So I can simplify that a little bit farther. Come up with 6x squared minus 7x minus 5. And then I want to distribute this GCF back in. And I will get 18x to the 4th minus 21x to the 3rd and minus 15x squared. So that will give us the exact same thing as our original expression. 18x to the 4th, 21x to the 3rd, and 15x squared. So that means that this right here is going to be our completely factored form. We've got a bunch of expressions multiplied together, and we can see that if we multiply it, we get exactly what our original expression was. So let's go on to example 2. So in example 2 here, we're starting out with 16x to the third plus 28x squared y minus 30xy squared. So I can see that these are all multiples of 2, they're all even numbers. So we can pull out a 2, and there's an x in each and every one of these. So I can pull out an x, and that'll leave me with 8x squared plus 14xy minus 15y squared. So now we'll just go ahead and continue factoring from there. And we want to notice that we've got some x's and some y's in here, so we want to be careful to keep those when we factor. So we'll come up with 2x still hanging out in front. Then we want something that multiplies together to give me this 8x squared. Let's try 4x and 2x. Then we want something that multiplies together to give me this negative 15y squared. No, minus 3y plus 5y. Okay, so yeah, those two multiply together to give me the negative 15y squared. Then we want to check this answer and see whether or not when we FOIL we can get all the way back to the top. So we'll multiply together our first terms, and that will give us 8x squared. Outside terms will give us plus 20xy. Inside terms will give us minus 6xy. And our last terms will give us minus 15y squared. Okay, we've still got our 2x out in front. So to get to the original, we're going to have to distribute this all the way back through. So that will give us 16x to the third plus 40x squared y plus, that's negative 12x squared y minus 30xy squared. So then we want to combine our like terms, and we'll get 16x to the third plus 28x squared y minus 30xy squared. Okay, which is exactly the same as the original. So that means that the part where we had it all the way broken down into a product of 3 different expressions is our factored form.